Hello and welcome to glennzb TV, the show that puts glennzb into your virtual headset. I'm bringing New Zealand to the world, and the world to New Zealand. Now, the trouble, Mr. Trump, with secret meetings with Russians, and for a start, it's interesting that you should choose to have a secret meeting with Vladimir Putin while in the middle of defending your son's secret meeting with some other Russians. But anyway, forgetting all that, of course, the trouble with your secret meeting, if you don't bring your own interpreter, is that you're stuck with the Russian-provided interpreter. And I don't want to sound racist or prejudiced against Russians, but I'm just suggesting that perhaps it's not necessarily in Mr. Putin's best interest to provide an interpreter who's necessarily going to say things exactly as... You know what I mean? You got to have an interpreter you can... If the movie with Nicole Kidman in it has taught me anything, you've got to have an interpreter you can trust. Was that a documentary? The BBC has made the pay public of people earning over 150,000 pounds. So people like Graham Norton are getting paid quite a lot. I mean, he's a major celeb though, isn't he, Graham Norton? However, of course, the controversy has come about over people like Alex Jones being paid not as much as Graham Norton. So, quite a bit less. We've got Claudia Winkleman, who I have never actually heard of. But anyway, she apparently is both a TV and a radio presenter. So she's in this bracket here, the 450 to 500k bracket. However, somebody who's basically doing the same job, Chris Evans, is... Can that be right? 2.2 million to 2.25 million. And they can't even get a decent photo of him without a scab on his nose. It's not a great picture. So anyway, obviously there have been calls for me to release how much I'm being paid. But I'm reluctant to do so because I think you'd be as outraged to learn, like some people are outraged to learn how much Chris Evans is being paid when he couldn't even manage to make the new Top Gear work. People would be annoyed that I am being paid at all to do stuff like this. It doesn't really matter how much I'm being paid, just the fact that I am even being paid and not paying somebody else for the opportunity to do it. I think that would annoy people. And also, I'm not state funded, so it's a bit different. Be interesting to know whether Wendy Petrie gets paid the same as Simon Dello. That would be interesting, because she does a lot more fist pumping than Simon Dello does, so I think she should get paid more. What could possibly go wrong with the hundreds of gang members who are preparing for the inaugural Fight Club in Whangarei? So it's an organised boxing match with members from Black Power, the Headhunters, and the Nomads. So they're all going to get together to commit acts of violence against each other, as opposed to what normally... I'm sure it will be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. It's interesting. We've been talking a lot about this this morning, this Fight Club story, and I thought that the first rule of Fight Club was to not talk about Fight Club. We talked to the organiser of the Fight Club, and unfortunately, Larry Williams was hosting here on News Talk ZB the interview with the organiser, and I really wanted him to ask if he had a feeling that maybe the whole thing was just in his head, and if he had seen somebody who looked like Brad Pitt, and did he think that that person was real or just imaginary. I hope I haven't given away the ending to Fight Club there. The Manawatu Gorge road closure, I don't think it's all bad news. I mean, I know people like an Ashurst and Woodville are annoyed about it. But as somebody whose father always took the scenic route and drove through the Manitou Gorge, I swear when he didn't even need to sometimes, and got car sick every single time, I am glad to see the back of it, to be honest. Yeah, that's just... I think we should do a survey of all the roads that most cause car sickness and close them all. Finally, there's a monkey name game going on. People are bidding on Trade Me for the opportunity to name these two tamarin monkeys at Wellington Zoo. Horrible, disgusting looking things, aren't they? Don't they look disease-ridden to you? They look a bit like... They remind me of... in Gremlins, when the Gremlins changed into Gremlins from whatever they were before they were Gremlins. I can't remember what. So they went from cute to horrendous. They're sort of halfway in between, aren't they? Anyway, so the bidding's up to 400. I'm just wondering if it's worth paying $410 to call one of them Glenn and one of them ZB. Don't know.